Shefty, almost a huge screw up at the end of the Saints-Commanders game yesterday. Spencer Rattler leads the Saints down. They get the ball inside the 5-yard line with less than 15 seconds to go, but for some reason, the referee decided to continue to run the clock. He comes in from the bottom of the screen here, and he blows the play dead. Has the NFL said anything? There he is, kind of spotting the ball. Clock stops, and it seems as though the clock would have run out if he didn't have that call on the field, and the clock stopped at 9 seconds for 2 or 3, maybe even 4 seconds there. Has the NFL said anything about this? Because this was almost one of the biggest screw-ups that we've seen in a while, because the Commanders, I mean, that was a huge win for them, but after they score the touchdown on this play, they narrowly miss the 2-point conversion. So has the NFL said anything about this kind of snafu at the end of the game?
I have not heard from the league about that. If the league is watching and wants to text me something that I could read to you guys, a statement about that particular ending, I'm open to that right now. But I've not heard anything particular about the way that game ended right now.
That's a interesting, because they're and we saw Hockey Lee with the pool reporter afterwards say, side judge blew it dead. It's not reviewable. Do you have anything else to say? It's not reviewable. I don't know what to tell you. And then obviously many on the internet, including Warren Sharp, said this is unacceptable. And it's like, I think what Hockey Lee was saying is, yes, blowing the play dead is unacceptable. And there should be some sort of conversation here, but there's nothing we can do about it after that happens. And that side judge, I was watching, it was on one of the 4 boxes. It was on one of the 4 boxes on TV. So I didn't fully understand. I'm like, oh, good timeout. Smart stuff, Riz. I was like, Rizzy, what a genius, keeping the timeout all the way for this exact moment. And then all of a sudden, I'm watching the full scramble, panic, and I'm like, and then the clock started rolling again. And I'm like, wait a minute. And then did the side judge think it was call it? I don't.
I'm saying, what would make him?
I have no idea.
It's crazy.
I have no idea what happens there. But I think the spread ended up being 8.
So 7.5.
7.5.
8, yeah.
So the spread was 7, or the game there, 2013, that's 7. Could you imagine if that?
Oh man.
It didn't. I mean, we're at half point off.
There were 7s at some point during the week, but most of the week was 7.5.
But if that swings a cover the other way, oh, buddy, especially if it was a public loss afterwards, as opposed to, like if a public wins after this, that'd actually kind of be like a good play for the NFL to maybe script into their scripts so people say or stop saying that it's scripted.
Right.
But if this was to swing from one way to another, boy, it would be much louder than it is right now, because I think a lot of people just consider this a who gives a crap game. Commanders get a win, let's move along. It was like they were very close to not. And then also there was a massive flub at the end of that thing from our officials who have been good this year, I think. There's only been a few that have been absolutely terrible. That could have been catastrophic, Schefter.
There have been many instances in the past, and I've heard people complain about it, that, and again, this was not one, but it's an example of it, where a game is decided by a call, a controversial call that influences the ending. And then the result of that game is obviously factored into whether coaches are kept, front offices are kept, players. Calls like that impact jobs and people's security and their lives. And we've seen calls made that have gone the other way, that have hurt people. People lose jobs. And it just shows you how much is riding on these games and how important the officials' jobs are.
Yeah, and we'd like to say the refs, great season. You guys had a great season thus far. Let's finish strong. And a lot of people are mad at Hockey Lee for his answer. I think Hockey Lee was pissed at his guy for even making that.
Yeah.
I think that is probably Hockey Lee's not happy about that. Hey, you just embarrassed not only me, the game, you in the NFL. So whenever people are like, need more of an answer out of him, I think Hockey Lee was just giving like the reality. Like, what do you want us to do? Put a stopwatch on?
Right.
How long it was stopped for, and then do some math and redo it? Maybe that is the right play. But they had 3 seconds when they stopped it. Would that have had 1 second? Was that a 2-second stoppage? Or was it 3 and a hook? Because if it was 3 and a hook, that game's over. And once again, the fact that it didn't affect the gambling is the most important part.
So massive.
Yeah, because the money line still remains the same.
Yep.
Because like them not getting the 2-point conversion.
Huge.
Yeah. Everything that had to happen here, very, very huge for the PR of this shit. But if this would have changed money line, changed cover, changed any of that, it was a public geez.
What was the over?
What was the over under on that game?
It had to be more than that.
Yeah, I want to say like 44.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
so under hit still.
Under was still hitting.
Yeah, so every bet still hit. If one of them doesn't, so much louder.
Doomsday. Yeah.
And that's why I think Hockey League is like, get this guy off my crew. Can't have a guy panicking. Fourth quarter, less than 10 seconds left, full panic. Can't have that.
No.
But once again, to the refs, you guys have had a great year. We'll never forget it.
Right.
You got to give them some,
most important time. Yeah, most important. Can't screw up at the end here. Okay?
Can ruin the whole season.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have a couple bets. Start stacking these on top of each other.
Yeah. No.
People are never going to remember that the first 15 weeks, pretty good. Just a few that have really been terrible. Nobody's going to talk about it. What have you done for us lately? And it works against a lot of different kickers, punters, quarterbacks, teams, coaches, refs, definitely. But you guys are built for it. We appreciate your service this year. You guys are built for it.
I did a peek-see into the nothing being affected by the Saints and Commanders. The Commanders were the #1 most teased team of the weekend. So that would have been affected there.
It did.
Teasers get out there. We apologize for it. That's crazy that ref made that mistake.
Can't have it.
Absurd.
Because, like, what?
There's no reason to, like, if he was reaching for the goal line, you could kind of.
Maybe he was in. We're going to have to review that.
Yeah.
Is it a touchdown? Is it play over?
They got no timeouts. Like
Clearly no timeouts. And I assume they're having the same conversations on those little headsets that they all have.
Yeah.
Hey, no timeouts. Remember, here we go. You would think.
you would assume, yeah.
You would think that type of stuff is happening, just like when an offensive coordinator relays into a quarterback, and a quarterback probably has already done this, especially veteran quarterbacks, to the huddle, to the thing. We're going into a 2-minute run. Hey, we got no timeouts, okay? Need to get out of bounds. If the person's in bounds, we all need to get as quick as possible, get the ball to the ref, and then they call their first play. Then they're off and running. You would assume the refs would have the same conversation. Hey, the Saints got no timeouts now going forward. So no matter what happens here, let's make sure we're on it.
You would assume that. I mean, the Zebras, look, they play a huge role. I think it's time for some post-game press conferences. I think they need to be hit with some hard
That's the poll reporter.
The poll report.
No,
that's a journalist.
Is that standing in front of Mark Caboli, getting drilled with the hard-hitting questions?
That's right.
Like, hey,
That's a
what
good
were
question.
you thinking, side judge, when you came in there blowing it dead?
Yeah, Hockey League having to speak for the side judge is certainly something which I think Hockey League was pissed off that his name was even associated with this type of egregious mistake. We can't review it. Sorry. Don't know what to tell you. Well, why didn't you? What do you want us to do?
I already told you.
As soon as I saw it, we wound the clock as soon as we saw it. And then we all said, if it means anything into our headset, we go, you dipshit. Wow. We at least, we tried to punish our own, but in the game, in the grand scheme of things, we talked to Schefter about the ref, the side judge down there in Saints Commanders game. What are your thoughts on that? Guy just panicked? I think he just panicked.
Definitely panicked. Definitely, the moment was too big for him. Like, he wasn't thinking ahead. I mean, it's an NFL game, bud. Like, that's the thing. This happens in, like, middle school games.
Yeah, this is the highest level. That is exactly what everybody's thinking on the same side. I mean, he's very confident, too.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. You saw him say, go back. There's like a quick moment there where he turns sideways. He's on the right side of the screen. And that's where he realizes, oh, no, I think. Wait for it. And boom.
Nope.
Right there.
Oh.
Oh, shit, he just said. Literally. What's that? What's going on, guys? How we doing? Oh, no. Oh, shit. I wonder what he was. Maybe he paused it because he was laying on top of him. You know?
Nah.
Is that Wags?
Because they can call a penalty on that now. I know that if you lay on him too long. But what was he thinking?
Yeah, I don't know. Just a little panic. Hey, it didn't change any straight up bets, but it did change some teasers, I guess, for people.
Yeah, the Commanders were the most heavily teased team on the week. So yeah.
So a lot of people weren't thrilled.
Yeah,
Definitely lost their bet.
Hey, it hasn't been like a bad year for these Stripes, though, AJ. We talked about that. It hasn't been like a bad year for the Stripes.
They haven't been the story. The majority of the most Mondays we come in here, we're not sitting here talking about the refs.
A majority of the story.
What about Dan Quinn? He's got to be pissed. I understand he won. They found a way. But.
Yeah, that's basically what he said. Like, I'm not going to say anything about it because, nothing really happened. But, yeah, that was bad.
I think Hockey League was pissed, too, in the poll report. I know there was a lot of people that are pissed off with his answer, but I think he was pissed off in his answer that he even had to say it because that's one of his guys. He's on his crew.
Yeah.
I'm not happy that one of my guys had this moment, okay? Yeah. This late in the fourth. He can't review it. Is there anything else? No. Like, what do you want? The guy, I would like to fire him.
Yeah.
What if Hockey League would have told the truth here in the poll report, which goes back to at least somebody should have to face public media.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Hockey League. You usually request, like, hey, talk to Pat McAfee, want to talk to AJ Hawk. I want to talk to Brian McFadden, whoever that side judge, that's who we request to come up here and answer.
Hockey Lee's a dog.
Exactly these questions.
Hockey Lee, good ref.
Yeah.
I think we are at a point where we're close to having a good crew, of refs. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody that looks a little confused, and maybe a little gun shy. They'll show a replay, and there's a second guess or a thought. A lot of holdings on Colts yesterday in the second half. It was 4 straight plays, offensive holding, 63 and 64. I don't know who the boys are, but they had eyes on you guys. That's something you should think about going forward. I think they're going to get you a lot. But some of those replays, you'll see some refs that look a little confused and some spots maybe a little bit off on the side. But other than that, I think the replay assist with the off-season training, and also I think they had younger refs last year or the year before, new Whitecaps that were getting there. I think we're getting to a point where they're getting to be the best that we've seen.
Replay assist has definitely helped.